The Africa fashion market is estimated by Data Monitor at $15.5 billion, with South Africa and Egypt leading the charts. You know, this also includes all forms of fashion accessories. Did you know that in the first quarter of 2014, fashion, attire, and textile contributed 2.3% to Nigeria's GDP? Let's take a look at the Nigerian growing fashion industry.
Handbags and accessories are among the fastest growing segments in the overall luxury goods industry. The business has enjoyed prominence from increasing women population as well as a significant rise in online sales trend. The expansion of the middle class and rise in disposable income also contributed to the reasons behind the success enjoyed by the sector between 2009 and 2014. Although perceived as a women-oriented market for too long, last year saw men purchase more bags than ever before. According to the NPD Group, sales of bags worn by men, particularly sports and equipment bags and handbags, reached $11.5 billion in 2014, while women handbag category saw a decline. With variety of options, labels, and brands showcased so far, backpacks, duffel bags, and messenger bags gained popularity among women this year. Many say the bag industry has an opportunity to continue to capture and keep the attention of male and female consumers alike. That's by emphasizing designs that accommodate their lifestyles in form and function. All, however, might not be so bright for the sector. According to Euromonitor's March 2015 report, the fluctuations in these times of recession could affect the sales of bag and luggage, and the days of double-digit growth could soon come to a halt. One thing is, however, clear as day: developing new markets is essential for luxury and mid-priced brands. Zashadu is a leading British-Nigerian luxury brand creating unique and carefully handcrafted bags.
Zainab, thanks for joining us. Zainab, talk to me about the luxury segment of the fashion industry. I mean, this segment has really kicked off, and we have quite a couple of Nigerian brands playing in that market. However, the Nigerian consumption of luxury brands by Nigerians is yet to kick off. I mean, what could be going on?
I can only speak from my own experience. The majority of our clients are Nigerian, in Nigeria, and the brand is doing well. I don't know, maybe we're comparing markets, and I don't know if that's something it might be wise for statistics, but in terms of what it really means, is it really wise to compare markets that have existed for however many years with markets that are just emerging? So maybe we need to look at the figures and compare them to figures of the other markets when they first begun. So it's like and like, like for like rather. But I think with what we're seeing, we have definitely a very healthy growth in this luxury sector, and I think that Nigerian consumers are very interested in the luxury market and want to be a part of it, especially they want to be part of the story of another Nigerian brand. How we communicate, how we as brands communicate or lure our clients into being part of that story is another matter. But definitely it's something that is of interest to Nigerians.
All right, if you were to pick an international brand, who will you call your close competitor?
To be honest, I don't think I can't really do that. I know brands that I admire. I love the aesthetic of Marni. I love the aesthetic of Duralowu. I love Maki-O. I like the ideology and the growth of Diane van Furstenberg. So those are brands, a few brands that I admire for different things. But I just try to do my own thing. I just put my head down and do what pleases me. People always ask, how are you able to kind of make everyone happy? But the truth is I don't think about making anyone else happy apart from myself. And however, as the brand grows and the relationship between the brand and consumers grows, I do listen to what clients tell me that they like. You know, if they want a longer strap, if they want an interchangeable strap, or if they want certain features, of course I'm going to listen to them. But in terms of design and in terms of what makes me excited to be able to put out there, it's completely solely mine.
So now let's talk about pricing. You know, because Nigeria originated from an informal market, I mean, as we speak, the informal market contributes about 58% to the GDP. So people were used to buying things back market, bringing it to the market, inflate the prices, and then sell it. So now there's always like a big comparison. I mean, how much is the local luxury brand selling for in comparison to its international competitors? How do you see the pricing of your brand in that market?
The pricing of my brand, actually, of my products, has gone through a journey, you know, and we finally arrived at a price, you know, kind of standard pricing when we took into consideration international markets, because we were selling outside of Nigeria as well. That affected what kind of pricing we'd had to be, you know, the price point. Also, we're an emerging brand. We still are an emerging brand, at home and abroad. That also affects the price. And then you're a luxury brand. That also affects the price. So I think our prices are not, you know, well, some people think they're not crazy, but you know, you do have to think before you go ahead and spend. And I think pricing is very, very important. It's something you have to get right. You have to keep going at until you get it right, because it makes the world of a difference to whether you're bought or you're not bought. If you're not priced high enough, and then you know it's not right for your brand. And if you're priced too high, again, it's not right for your brand. So it's something that there's a lot of psychology to it, and you definitely should engage people who know what they're doing when it comes to trying to price your goods.
Following the drop in the oil prices, it has more than halved, currently selling at about $50 per barrel. I mean, research states that whenever there's a shrinking in economy, the luxury segment is the first to get hit. Have you witnessed any drop in consumer spending?
To be honest, I can't say that I haven't. Of course, it's not the same every day. You know, you have some better days and you have some better weeks and some better months. I don't know that it has anything necessarily to do with the shrinkage of the economy. But I do know something, and that is luxury, real luxury, does well even when the chips are down. Because when it comes, the desire to attain something that is beautiful, well made, handcrafted is always there. It's even more so when things aren't going so well, because you need something to make you feel better. You need to believe in something that's better than you, bigger than you. And so in times like that, you find that people perhaps won't be so frivolous in spending, just buying anything, but when they want to purchase, they will think about it and think, okay, I want to get something that's going to make me feel good. It's my wife's birthday. We've been through hard times. It's really tough, but I want to get something really nice. And then you think, what can I get? You're going to think about luxury because you know it's going to last. You know it's an investment. So I find that actually the luxury market doesn't do so badly.
Interesting. It's interesting to know that even though the chips are down,
yes,
the cash isn't affected. Interesting. I mean, now let's talk about this, right? So now you're in the luxury market, and Zainab has created a brand, Zashadu, and it's doing well for itself. I'm sure you have plans to increase your market share. What strategy do you have in place to achieve that?
Well, we have many plans. We have definitely a concrete plan in place. And as we go along, we're also very adaptable and flexible to see what works well. But for sure, we want to expand, you know, our markets. I don't like to be in too many markets at once, you know, with the same intensity. I don't think for a team as small as mine, it's not possible. I have to do so many things here, and so what I would like to do is definitely expand our market share. And I'm looking at other economies around the world. And once we do kind of make that proper jump or shift and move into a new space, into a new market, it's something that is going to be very well thought out. You know, in other markets, you have the luxury of experience, other people's experience. They know the market very well. You can shop around for a PR agency. You can, you know, suit your budget. So you can do many things that we don't necessarily have at our disposal in Nigeria. So I'm going to take advantage of that. So everything I'm doing is kind of leading up to this chunk of capital that we're going to spend to to drive the business in another market in order to drive more capital into the business. So that's one aspect of it. Also in terms of manufacturing here in Nigeria, as the team has grown, we've had to expand our manufacturing capacity. One of the things that we do is that we house our artisans, we provide accommodation for them, so we also have to expand as the team expands. So that's another thing. And also we have to think of alternative power supply, because that is something that right now we're able to manage, in the sense that we don't create garments, we create leather pieces. 90% of the work is done by hand, by human beings. But when it comes to the finishing, we need to use machines, of course. And so then we can kind of tailor our production and say, okay, there's no light now. At this particular time, we're going to use alternative power. But when it's bigger and you have all these demands to make, you can't really, rely on that tight schedule. So that's another thing we have to think about. So I think one of the things is not being scared of growth because of challenges. You have to just upscale your thinking as well, and your planning, and be bold enough to say, okay, you know what, I think we can do it like this. What do we need? If we need this much money, that means we need to make this much. How are we going to do it? It's scary, of course, but you have to give it a shot. You have to give it a try, and that's what we're doing.